Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. This is going to be an Ask a Crafter video. If you are an OG, original Frugal Crafter fan, you may remember a series of videos I did a few years ago, quite a few years ago. I did some by myself, and then I had a couple of my crafty friends join me, and we would answer viewer questions, and it was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, with the pandemic, I can't have my friends over here physically, and I have found that since the pandemic, my internet doesn't seem to be as snappy fast as it used to be. So it's just going to be me for now. But I am going to go through and answer some of the questions that you guys posted on the community tab on my YouTube channel. So if you go to the Frugal Crafter YouTube channel, just search Frugal Crafter on YouTube and click on community, you can see a thread. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep using the same thread or if I'll start a new one each week so that way I don't get too far behind. But I'm just going to pop in and answer a few questions each week. So if you see a question you like, make sure you hit the thumbs up on that question because I'm going to choose them based on votes. The ones that get the highest amount of thumbs up at the time I'm recording will be the ones that I answer. So I've got it opened up on my phone. I'll probably start a new one each week because otherwise I won't be able to keep track. But the first question is from Parcel Art, and they ask, do you ever get upset with yourself for being uncreative, and what do you do to motivate yourself? Yeah, I do. That's frustrating. One of the things that I find will help me get out of a creative slump, and I mean, I have to be creative every day. It's part of my livelihood. So sometimes I find the easiest thing to do is to set limitations. So it can be a limitation of time. Like set a timer, say you've got to start working and you got to work for 15 minutes and after that timer goes off you can stop. Or give yourself 2 hours, say you've got 2 hours to do something and that is it. You may procrastinate for an hour and a half and then end up working for 30 minutes, but it will get you working. You might need to shorten that window if you find yourself procrastinating too much. But generally, if you want to make something happen, you need a plan and not enough time to do it. You know, I think that was Winston Churchill or Ben Franklin or something like that said that. But yeah, you need to set a limitation or a limitation of supplies. And that worked out really well when I was doing a lot of freelance work because I'd have to work with a certain set of supplies. Like a client would need an illustration done with a particular set of markers, or a client that owned a store would need paper crafting projects made with a certain set of supplies. So having that limitation made it easier to be creative. Or having limited supplies, like maybe take a bag or a basket and put a set of pencils in it and some paper and, you know, just very limited supplies, so you have to be creative with what you have. I know that I would get a lot of projects done when I would go to scrapbooking crops because I'd bring one bag of supplies and I had to make it work, and that was it. And I talked to a lot of other women I used to craft with, and they'd say, I don't scrapbook anymore. I haven't scrapbooked since I used to go to the crops because I just can't seem to find the time to it. And I think it's not so much the time, it's that you had limitations and you had no distractions. So if you can set limitations for yourself, give yourself a box to create within and give yourself a set amount of time, that can really help you be creative. And you have to allow yourself time to do it. And if you can, allow yourself space to do it. So living in a fairly small house for so long, the only place I had to create was the basement. And so I set up an easel in the basement. It was nothing fancy. I mean, you've seen the old frugal craft room. I just got this finished office this year, like 6 months ago. But I was working and running a business from an unfinished corner of my basement for 10 years. And it worked. You know, just if you can find a place where you can leave your stuff out and not have to pick it up when you're done at the end of the day, that is a huge benefit. It's tough when you're working at the kitchen table and you've got to pick up each time it's mealtime. And that's why a basket is nice, because if you have a basket of supplies, a few things that you can just work on, you can put everything back in the basket when you're done and maybe stick it in the cupboard or, you know, set it in the other room while you eat, then you can always bring it back out to work on that project. And if you don't have a lot of space, it's not realistic to think that you're going to do, you know, 5 foot by 8 foot oil paintings. You know, if you've got a card table or you've got a TV tray to work on, you'll want to make sure that you maybe work in a sketchbook and have a set of pencils or a set of markers or something that's reasonable for the space and the time that you have. Don't set yourself behind the 8 ball before you even get going. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think we feel like we need every supply available at the art supply store to create art these days, because that's what we see when we turn on YouTube or we look at Instagram, but that's not the case at all. A sketchbook, a drawing medium, a sketchbook and a pencil, really, that's all you need. And if that's all you have time for and that's all you have space for, there's nothing wrong with that. You can create artwork that is legitimate, that is as legitimate and as beautiful as somebody that's got a gorgeous architect designed art studio with natural lighting and, you know, $1 million view. You can create art that's just as good or better, probably better because you're not distracted by the $1 million view out your window. So set boundaries, set limitations, and be creative within those limitations. I think those will help you when you are stuck. Yes, of course I get mad at myself when that happens. I get mad at myself when I know I should be creating or I have the time to create and I end up getting lost, you know, on the internet or on my phone or something like that. I just get, or I can't seem to get anything to turn out or anything to start. And that's normal. You know, we're not going to be happy with our work all the time. We're not going to be, you know, whistling Dixie and sunshine and roses and rainbows and unicorns all the time, because that's not life. That's not, you know, it's something you enjoy doing. Art is something you enjoy doing, but it's not always going to be perfect. If it was, it'd get boring real fast. So, you know, you can do it. And it's not always going to be fun, and that's okay, you know. Let's see. The next question comes from Kamalita. What is your favorite affordable watercolor brush? My favorite, and I don't know what you consider affordable, so I'll give you a couple different suggestions. First would be the Creative Mark Mimic Faux Squirrel brushes. They are, actually I got one right here. I'll show you this big one so it'll show up on camera good. They are gray handled. They're available at jerrysartorama.com. They're what I use in my signature sets through Jerry's Artorama. They have some value packs, and then they also sell them open stock. I think they're very affordable for what you get. They're high quality and they're very absorbent. They also have a faux Kolinsky, if you prefer. This is like a squirrel brush, but it's fake fur. They also have a faux Kolinsky if you prefer a slightly firmer brush. They're also really good. They're more expensive, but they're excellent. So that's the Creative Mark Mimic lines of brushes. You can find them. You can find the faux squirrels on Amazon as well. I don't think they have the Kolinskys. They might. But check both places, because usually Jerry's, well, it depends. Usually for the individual brushes, Jerry's will be cheaper, but the sets will be cheaper on Amazon. So so check that out. I'll try to remember to link to those so you can have a look. For less money than that, you can get the Royal and Langnickel Zen or a Menta series. They have all media brushes, which are golden Taklon, so if you like a firmer brush for your watercolor. They also have a synthetic, the Menta is 100% synthetic, and the Zen is a mix of synthetic and natural bristles, but those are very absorbent. They're pretty good quality. They don't hold the points to the brush as well as the Creative Marks, but they are a lot cheaper. They're like $3 to $5 a brush, I think, so definitely affordable. And other synthetic brushes that are affordable for watercolor, the Princeton Snap and Princeton, I think it's called Value Sets. I think it's called Value Sets, Princeton. Those are good too. So yeah, you definitely have good options for affordable brushes nowadays. Now she had a bunch of questions, but oh, one has to do, and I had a couple people asking about what do you need to start a YouTube channel. Both Kamalita and a couple other viewers asked that. Really? Got a phone? That's all you need. Spend your money on lighting if you need to, but honestly, just go gather lamps around your house, put some daylight bulbs in them, and you'll be good to go. Your phone is going to be better than most video cameras that you can buy, and you might as well start off with whatever you have. Your point and shoot camera probably takes video too, but use what you have. See if you even like doing it. I find on YouTube it's more about the content than about the quality of your filming, because there are channels that film in 4K that are not doing as well as channels that film on their phone or even with a webcam that's lower quality. So the best thing to use is whatever you already have. Let's see. This one has a lot of upvotes. It's from Nadine Cowley. And she's asking, it's a long question. Basically, how do you see values in your artwork? So this is a really tricky question. A lot of people struggle with it. So values is how light and dark things are, and it can get very confusing when you are looking at a colored image. So what I would suggest is to take a photo of whatever it is you want to draw, and actually if you take it with your camera, you can just go right into your photo setting, your editing, and desaturate it. So you take all the color away. Then you'll be able to see lights and darks on a scale. There is a tool you can buy called a value finder, and it's basically a piece of cardstock that has 9 or 10 different shades of gray, and goes from white to black and all the shades in between, and there's little keyhole cutouts on it, so you can hold it up and look through the keyhole and you can see how light or dark something is. So that can help you, because you could actually bring that value finder over to your painting and you could hold it up to what you just painted and say, did I really make that dark enough? So I probably suggest working in charcoal or black and white to learn your values. Take your photos and desaturate them if you're confused, and then see how those colors correlate to your black and white photo, and draw with a pencil or graphite first. Then you'll get your values down, then you can start adding color. Usually problems in paintings come down to values and not color. And let's do, I don't know how long I wanted these Ask a Crafter videos to be. Oh, Abby Ella has a good question. How do you maintain good posture when creating? I always find myself hunched over. That's a really tough one, but I think you need to find, get a chair that's adjustable, one with the back preferably. If you don't feel comfortable, like sitting with your back in the back of your chair, like I tend to sit up forward a little bit, you can put a pillow or roll up a towel, like a firm towel, and put that on like your lower back. You get comfortable. I like to sit up and I like to look straight kind of down so I don't get that much distortion when I'm drawing. And I also will use an inclined board a lot of times when I'm drawing, so I don't have to hunch over. But a lot of times you're hunching over to see your work closely. So you might need, you might want to try a magnifier. Like I have a light with a big magnifier on it. If I'm working on something really detailed, I don't have to use it too often, but sometimes I'll pull it out. Or if you find yourself kind of like hunched over, maybe try to bring up your drawing surface a little bit so you can sit up straight, or maybe work on a drafting table with an inclined surface, or stand at an easel. If you start to feel like, I notice, I don't have it so bad when I draw, but I notice when I do jewelry making, I will get like a pain between my shoulder blades, and it's because I'm not sitting properly. So listen to your body. If you start to get like aches and pains, get up, move around, stretch. Or even stretch in your chair if you can't get up and move around, so that you can, you don't injure yourself. Also, I think something that it might even be that your posture is bad, it might just be you're not moving enough. And if you're sitting in one spot for hours, which you can do if you get engrossed with your art, to stop and do some stretches. Maybe put a yoga mat on the floor, stretch out your back, stretch out your hips and your legs, you know, because you don't want something that brings you joy to bring you pain. You don't have to suffer that much for your art, friends. So that would be my advice there. And you could always talk to a chiropractor if you want some, you know, professional advice. I'm not a professional chiropractor. I'm just like, I've had severe back pain before. I had a couple of years where I had lower back pain. I think it was partially due to a sedentary lifestyle, both painting and being on the computer for YouTube. And, you know, partially I had put on some weight, and partially just, you know, not stretching and moving around enough. So just doing like back exercise stretches. There's a YouTube channel called, I think it's called like Bob and Brad or something like that. They're two chiropractors that have a YouTube channel, and they had a video on back stretches, and it was really helpful. It really helped reduce the back pain. So you got to keep your body healthy so that you can keep your mind healthy, so that you can keep your creative spirit healthy. And oh my, I have closed the thing on my phone. I'm so technically illiterate. Let's see, another one with big votes. Let's see. Oh, I should edit this out. Okay, I'm gonna do this one, and then and that'll be it for this video. Crafty Wifey Crafts asks, is there any theme or genre that Lindsay won't touch? Anything that you just don't like, or do you like everything? For example, I have no interest in steampunk. I can't even find any inspiration to work with stamps or papers highlighting steampunk. You know, I think everybody has genres that they don't really like that much. I definitely am drawn to more colorful, textural things. So I don't think there's anything that I really don't like. And being a professional artist. I make my living as an artist, but I think the term professional artist sounds a little hoity-toity. But being someone who makes their living from the visual arts, there's nothing I really shy away from too much. Yeah, I can't think of anything. I mean, I wouldn't want, I guess I don't draw really dark and haunting and disturbing things, but I don't know if that's a genre. I mean, I like sci-fi and I like thrillers and horror and stuff like that, so I would definitely like be up for doing like a novel cover for like a thriller. So I wouldn't even say that I would stay away from the genre of sci-fi or horror, because I mean, I do enjoy that. I probably would not, you know, work with something that's like really graphic and disturbing. But no, I don't think so. Of course, there'll be like crafts and stuff that just didn't appeal to me. Like I don't like really fussy, friggy crafts. I remember when I was a kid, my mom would get me those baking crystal sun catcher kits. Do you remember those? They were awful. They were like, I think the parents bought them for their children because like to keep them busy, and you would have this little metal frame and you would put it on a cookie sheet, like on top of like parchment paper or tin foil or something, and you would have to drop these little plastic crystals in the little cells of the sun catcher, the metal sun catcher, then you bake it. And if you could get that from the counter to the oven without hitting something or tripping or bumping the cookie sheet and having all the baking crystals get all mixed up and go everywhere, you were doing good. You had magical powers. That was the most frustrating craft. And so that frustrated me so much. I don't do any projects like that. Any projects like, I don't do diamond painting, I don't do cross stitch, I don't do embroidery. So I tend to shy away from very fiddly, friggy, although some people would say like my stamping projects can be a little like fiddly and friggy. I tend to stay away from like projects like that. But no, I don't think, I think I like something in all genres at least. If it's not something I particularly enjoy doing, I enjoy looking at it. Like I love to look at beautiful embroidered handkerchiefs and things like that. In fact, I have some that I think I want to wash and use actually. But yeah, I guess I'm not into, I've tried quilting. I didn't really care for that much because of the precision that's needed, but I enjoy sewing. So yeah, I mean, it's like I went through a phase of making socks, knitting socks, but I really don't like working with really fine yarn and all the little stitches. So, you know, I guess there's nothing that I really shy away from. I think I will try anything once. I might not stick with it. I could appreciate the art form, but I can't think of any genre that I really dislike. I don't know. I get tired of stuff. I get tired of stuff if I see a lot of the same coming out on the internet and stuff. I might shy away from those just because it seems like, well, that's been done 1.5 million times. It doesn't need my input on it, but no, I don't think so. So that's going to wrap up this first reboot episode of Ask a Crafter. Thank you for submitting your questions. I'll put a new thread on my community channel when this one, after this video goes out, so that you'll know to post new questions there. And if I didn't get to your question, I apologize. It might be in the next video. Or if I've already started a new thread, then it might not have gotten a lot of votes. It's really tough. It's hard. I try to be fair. I try to get to everybody, but I can't answer 200 questions in a video. But I'm doing my best, so just please know that. Thank you very much for watching this. I appreciate it. And just let me know what you think in the comments below. Or actually, you know what? You could leave. No, better leave them on the thread on my community tab, because if I film like 5 Ask a Crafters from that one thread, then I'll never be able to get everything straight. Yeah, but best to leave the questions on the community thread. I'll leave a link in the video description, but hey, say hello in the comments. I love that. Love to hear what you think. If you have anything to add to any of the questions that I answered, that would be super helpful for people. And till next time, happy crafting!